What up, everybody? It's your boy DTLF back with another pregame as the Lakers get set to face the Memphis Grizzlies at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Super hyped for this game. I believe we have AD and AC back, according to the latest report. So, they were going to test it out to see if they're good to go for pregame, and it looks like everything's going swell. So, Lakers, Grizzlies, they got Ja Morant. They didn't have him for the first two matches we played him, I believe. I think so. Maybe it was one, but I think when we played him earlier this year, they didn't have him for both. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we might be seeing John Morant for the first time this season, and should be a very entertaining game. Very, very, very entertaining game. Um, Obviously, we struggle, in the paint to protect the paint. So that's where they have a lot of strength at finishing at the rim. John Morant, obviously one of the better slashers. And then you have what's his name? Noah Vonleh. No, not Noah Vonleh. Jonas Valanciunas. He could kill in the paint as well. He likes to park down there and do what he does. They got plenty of good players. Obviously, Slow Mo. They got Dylan Brooks. They got guys who like to get in the paint and do their thing. So, we need to do what we got to do, man, to survive tonight. And hopefully this game doesn't go into overtime. But with Anthony Davis back, hopefully he's looking. It was, bleed purple and gold. It was bomb, bro. But hopefully, with the game heading over into, hopefully it doesn't go into overtime. Man, last 3 straight games we had OT, guys. 3 straight games. Like, when was the last time you guys can remember the Lakers going into 3 straight overtime games, especially being a powerhouse type team? Like, whoa, man. And then the teams we faced were a little bit lesser than us. So it's unfortunate, but he said, yo, what is the key to defense tonight, Dan? Well, somebody mentioned it earlier, man. We're getting blown by easily, and that puts our front line in a serious predicament. We got to make sure that we out here making sure these perimeter guards aren't getting to the paint as easily. Our perimeter defense needs to get better now. Having Alex Caruso sure as heck does that for us. So hopefully he's back and healthy and looking good, ready to go. Because what that does is it strengthens our overall defense when we have our best perimeter guards out there. But let's just say he's not 100%. He plays limited minutes. Again, I expect THT. I expect KCP, all our guards to step up defensively since the paint is a little thin this year. So that's what we got to do. What up, Lou? What's up, everybody? Let's hope we don't. Yeah, let's hope we don't have another OT game. I'm saying, Angel, that's the last thing the Lakers need right now is another OT game. So absolutely right. He said, what about Taco or McGee as easy pickups? Taco Fall is kind of flat-footed. He has the size for sure, but we're looking for somebody who can maybe switch out to different positions because in today's NBA, you need guys who can switch out to the perimeter and do all kinds of stuff defensively because there's a lot of switching, a lot of screens, and you got to be able to switch those pick and rolls and stuff like that. So Taco doesn't fit the bill due to the fact that, again, he's kind of slow. He does have the height advantage, though, and he does bring some sort of rim protection, but I don't believe it's the kind we need. We need somebody who can rotate out there and do multiple things, not just rim protect and rebound, but multiple things. So I wouldn't look in that direction. He said Morris could do that. Yeah, but Morris is undersized. Again, we need a good balance of size, strength, athleticism, and agility. That way they're able to man the paint and outside the paint when we get pulled out. But I'm excited to see what AD brings to the table. Again, it's been a couple of games since he's played. Let's see if he's looking better tonight than he was the previous couple of weeks. Maybe he needed a rest. We'll see. And also, the team has to adapt to obviously inserting him back in the lineup because he's such a presence. He demands attention. He demands touches that the team has to adjust. So we go from Kuz having to be aggressive to now having to take a back seat. We go from Markeith and West and all these people starting to now having to take a back seat, maybe even DNPs. Who knows? But we got to adjust. Clarence said, I almost guarantee that we'll be aggressive on offense and defense. I like that, Clarence. Make sure you show up for the post-game recap then because I want to make sure we follow through on that guarantee. But, yeah, it's good to be confident. This should be a dub. However, it is going to be a test because Ja Morant is just a killer in this league. Not just, versus us who have a thin front line versus the whole NBA. His first step, he's so quick. He has handles. He can finish at the rim. He can stretch you out from beyond the arc. This is going to be a good test for us tonight and for our guards especially. And let's see how we do it. Let's pass. My man said Hassan Whiteside. He's still not a free agent, bro. But I feel you. Like I'm at the point where I'm ready to give anybody a shot. But I would like for us to wait for the buyout market and see who becomes available. Maybe a better name becomes available. Who knows? He says, "Sub DTLF looking fresh, my man. Hoping and praying y'all don't have another overtime." He said, "Who do you think will be the X factor for the Lakers? Hoping Anthony Davis can drop anywhere from 30 to 40 points." Appreciate you, bro. Who's going to be the X factor? That's a good question. Let's see. With Anthony Davis back, it could be anybody. It could be one of our bench players. It could be even Alex Caruso. He's been an X factor some games this season. It could be anybody. So, yeah, we're hoping for AD as well. We want AD to have one of those last year type games where I think it was last year he dropped 50 points in one game, wasn't it? I believe so during the regular season. But it could be anybody, man. This team is so deep. We could have Kuz be the X factor. It could be THT. It could be Alex Caruso, Wesley Matthews was an X factor off the bench a couple games ago. So it could be anybody. Seriously. But bottom line here is we have to come out here and play hard from the get, because if we come lay an egg early in the first quarter and in the second quarter, it always becomes a lot harder to win these games. That's why we've been going into overtime. We've been taking halves off, and the Lakers are one of the only talented teams that could take a half off and then still come back and win. And I think that's been hurting us because we're building bad habits. We're kind of, especially LeBron and some of the older cats on the team are pacing themselves. And then as a result, they're having to overexert themselves when the opposition gets that confidence. And next thing you know, they think they can win the game. They're out here taking us to OT, man. So we got to make sure we step on them early and finish them off. He said, Shannon Sharpe said this morning that the Lakers aren't loaded. He said they are too heavy. They are top heavy. He said, do you think he's wrong about that and being a LeBron fanatic? Yes, that's all it is with Shannon. A lot of things he says, a lot of things Shannon Sharpe says, he just he tries to overcompensate for LeBron James, which is okay for a LeBron fan, but it's not okay for a Laker fan. Like, I get annoyed for him continuing to disrespect our role players. We are definitely deep. If we weren't deep, we would have lost a lot of the previous games where AD has missed, if not all of them. Then that would have showed our lack of depth. But instead, we figured out ways to win it, which exactly spells depth to me. Again, Shannon Sharpe, sometimes he's blinded by just being a fan of a player. He's funny. He's a good guy and all that. I love watching him in the morning sometimes. But sometimes he does get on my nerves with all this trade this person, trade that person. Like, bruh, like, we're good right now. We don't need to make trades now. If something becomes available that for sure puts us over the top, guaranteed, then do it. I'm okay with it. But to be complaining all the time, and I get it. His guy LeBron has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but I blame that not on the lack of talent or on us, lack of depth and nothing like that. I blame that on just the offensive schemes we're running, and maybe due to the fact that LeBron James is hot, so he's riding the hot hand, right? And he wants the ball. I saw him demanding the ball in the fourth quarter, every single possession. But Dennis has to sometimes be able to do his thing within the flow of the offense and take some pressure off of LeBron. When he's aggressive, we're just a different team, completely different team. We don't have to rely on just one player. Same thing with AD or whoever is out there getting heavy minutes. They have to take a little bit of the load off of King James. It's just sometimes, man, I feel like players become fans in the process because they're out here watching a masterful performance, right? They're watching LeBron knock down threes, attack the rack, and do his thing, and they become spectators instead of participants. And they just got to do a better job of blending that, right? Knowing when to step in and relieve pressure to LeBron, and then when to let Bron take over and ride the hot hand. It has to be a nice mix. I would like to see Wes in place of Dennis. He's a better as a starter. We'll see. We'll see. I heard Wes was going to play in the rotation tonight. I heard it might go to an 8 to 10 man rotation with Wes and Markieff. So let's see exactly who plays the bulk of the minutes. And again, it doesn't matter who starts. To me, the most important thing is who finishes the game and who plays within the confines of the offense, who doesn't get out of control and start forcing things. We've critiqued Dennis this season for that. We've critiqued certain players for getting out of hand, but for the most part, they've done a good job of playing within the flow. Now, but they do have to help out a little more. That's the only thing, especially when AD or anybody of any sort of major magnitude misses a game. That's when we really need the role players to step up. But all in all, my man Johnny believes we should rest LeBron James. He's overdue for a rest, but I just, it's the competitor in him. Kobe was very the same way. They didn't like to rest unless they really couldn't go. So, it's hard to sit those players. They just want to play every single minute they're out there, man. If you love basketball, ball is life, and you're not gonna just sit to sit. So it would have to be like a coaching decision, and he would have to go through it with LeBron. You don't want to disrespect King James and sit him when he wants to play, right? So it's crazy. My man said THT, special talent. I can't wait to see how much better he gets in the future. All of us, man. I didn't listen to Alan Silva's interview. If anybody heard it, go ahead and fill me in. But I asked him if he could ask THT if he sees himself as a future potential superstar, not an all-star, because I wanted to gauge where this kid's confidence was at. And he, Alan Silva, to his credit, liked my tweet of me asking him to ask that to Talon, but I'm not sure if he did because I was busy. I had company over and I didn't really look at that. But if you guys did watch or listen to the AM 710 interview of THT, please fill me in because I would like to know what his response is. Sometimes the way these kids answer, you could tell a lot. Even in draft combines and interviews and stuff, you could tell a lot just by the way, the confidence, the swagger, the humility, everything matters in a kid's future potential growth. So, everything matters. He said, I want energy, not sleepwalking. Pope, let's go Lakers. He's been struggling from beyond the arc, but are we concerned? Absolutely not. We've seen this movie before, and it'll happen again where he starts getting his confidence back and he's firing on all cylinders. That's what we need. Hey, what's up, THC? He said, you should have asked if he sees himself as a longtime Laker. Well, that's not really a relevant question to me, Odell, because the politically correct answer is yes. Any player who's currently playing for any franchise is going to most likely say yes. So I wanted to find out how he answered, if he saw how he saw himself as far as confidence goes, because the real special ones, they almost like project it into reality what they're going to become. Like if you go back and watch the Kobe interviews when he was younger, he knew he was going to be a beast, man. He knew he was going to be a GOAT. And, the great ones, they project. Now, I'm not comparing, obviously, THC to Kobe, but I'm just trying to gauge where he's at mentally. He's only 20 years old. So if he comes out here and he's like, well, I'm just going to do whatever the team asks of me and all that, that's the politically correct answer. But the great ones probably would answer it a little bit different. They'd be like, oh, well, I'm definitely striving to be the best that I can be. And I do foresee myself as some sort of a star, whether he says all-star, superstar. But that's what I would like to hear from my young buck, my young player who's out here hooping. Because if he can project it, if his confidence is there, his skill set is there, mentality, he has a square head on his shoulders, then most of the time it will come to fruition. Trust me. I've watched, years and years of draft combines, and I always realize that it's the really confident ones, 9 times out of 10, that end up being, the superstars of the league. The ones that are more quiet, you'll have like your Kawhis of the world and your Tim Duncans, the ones that slip through the cracks, but those are rare and far and few in between. The ones that are really confident, not cocky, there's a difference. Those are the ones that end up panning out for sure. And I think THT is confident. I think from everything I've heard, the kid is truly confident and he believes in his skill set. But that's why I wanted him to answer that, to see how it is, My man Odell, he said, Dan, Spectrum needs to sign you. Oof, that would be a blessing, man. But they already got plenty of Hall of Famers there, man. And I'm here for you guys right here. But it would be a blessing, man. I would never turn down an invitation just to even come on to their show. That would be, if it's in God's plans, man, you never know. He said, yo, Dan, you should get a Quest 2 and watch the Lakers in VR. It's pretty cool. He said, let's get this one. Oh, I've always wondered how those work. Do you have one? Because, I've always wondered, like, you can, like, see it from the courtside view, right? I believe so. It's like you're sitting at the seat. But, thanks for letting me know, bro. Let me know if you actually have that. He said, how are you, Dan? What centers will be available at the trade deadline? Man, if I could look into the crystal ball, no, I'm just playing, no crystal ball. But if I could look into the future and tell you, bro, I would. But I can't. I'm not sure who's going to be available as of right now. the rumors are very quiet for this time of the year. Obviously, the schedule shifted a little bit, but um, it'll be interesting to see that. I do look forward to covering that with you guys for real, for real. But he said THT or Kuz on another team would be a 20 plus a night. I do believe that. I truly believe that, especially THT with a couple more years of seasoning. But it's about more than scoring. I'd be impressed with those players, what they bring to the table besides scoring. We know that in this league, it's not too hard to score. But it's like when you're not scoring, how else do you impact the game? Can you rebound? Can you defend? Can you play within the flow of the offense? Can you play off the ball? Can you do you move well without the everything? Everything matters. How much do you set hard screens for your teammates? How selfless are you? Your IQ, is it high? Is it low? Like all that matters. So I have been very impressed by the other things that these kids that have been doing, even when they're not scoring. When they're not scoring, that's a more interesting part of their game I like to dissect. Especially Kuzma. Kuzma has impacted all season long. All season long, even when he's at off nights. People with low basketball IQ won't realize what he's doing. But the ones that see the game like for what it is, not the ones that analyze the stats, not the nerds that look at the stats and be like, oh, he didn't play good because he had a plus and minus. No, the ones that really truly watch and understand talent and see the game within the game. Everybody knows that these kids are doing more than just scoring to impact the game positively for the Lakers. And yeah, sometimes the numbers do tell the story, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't. Statement game tonight? Not quite. Not quite a statement game. But it would be nice to beat this team because I think they're pretty solid. I believe they're 10-10 as of right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the record. So they're a 500 team. They're right at 500. But bottom line is, win is a win. Is a win is a win. Dr. J, I like that. Appreciate you, bro. He said, hey, Dan, I'm worried we don't have enough this season to repeat. What is our biggest need, or are we okay as is? We are okay as is, but I don't want to go. I don't want to go into the playoffs with this current team because I do feel like we do need a rim intimidator at least. You don't even have to be a rim protector, but we need more respect from the opposition. Like I said, everybody this season has been just swimming into the paint. Like they've been out here just. They be out here in the paint just camping, man, pitching their tent in there, and nobody's stopping them. So I would like some more respect, and that's why the one position I would request from Rob, if I was him, just to make things easier for us in a 7-game series. Now, I believe that if we were forced to go with this team to the playoffs, we could still eke out, and I won't say like by a lot like last year where we were dominating, but we could eke out a championship. I do believe it. As long as we got LeBron, AD, and the great supporting cast that we do, I believe we have a chance, a great one. But if you want to solidify what I believe to be one of our only weaknesses this year, that's the route you should take. Point guard, check. Shooting guard, check. Small forward, check. Power forward, check. Center, question mark. Lorraine heard, she said, I heard the interview. He was speaking from a confident standpoint. I appreciate that, Lorraine. She said, saying he is like a sponge, just learning from how to become better. Really just humble, humility, just there. Let's go, THT. All right, that's what I like to hear, for sure, Lorraine. Appreciate you very, very much. Now, this is key, all right, because from what I could dissect from her just telling me this is that the kid is humble. You need a humble kid to be able to stay with a championship franchise for a long time. So Laker fans that were concerned about him leaving, not likely, because he's humble. He's not full of himself. But she also mentions that he's speaking from a confident standpoint. See, if she can notice that, I'm sure I would have noticed it as well. Because you could just tell the kid. I can see the way he walks on the court and the way he carries himself. The young man is very confident and he's ready for the takeover whenever his time comes. But I believe his real time is going to be next season, in my opinion. Right now, we're just watching flashes and glimpses, and maybe even in the playoffs, he will do some damage there. Young Elder, appreciate you, bro. He said, I heard the Hawks are shopping Collins. Mamba mentality, Palenka, let's go. I would love John Collins, but man, his contract is going to be expensive, bro. The reason they're shopping him because they don't plan on re-signing him. I guess they don't have the greatest relationship there. I'm not sure we can throw what he's going to ask for. He's going to ask for a lot of money. John Collins is a nice young piece, but is he going to be worth that type of contract? Maybe not. I The most I'd give him is like a Julius Randle type contract. But then you have to ask yourself, who are you going to trade for him right now? For John Collins, they're going to want a nice young piece, man. That's all I got to say. Now, would you do Kyle Kuzma for John Collins straight up? Maybe that's something you consider for sure. He does help us in the paint a little bit more, and but it's kind of a repetition, like my man right here says. Don't need Collins, you got AD. But I mean, you could use them both in the paint. Don't get me wrong. We could go small and play Collins at the 4 or 5, however. But look, at the end of the day, I don't expect that to be a trade. He's fits more of a team like the Thunder, maybe. You know, somebody who's got somebody like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Horford, and then you can slide him in at the power forward. But then again, they do have Baisley, who I like. So yeah, I don't even know. But all I'm saying is, yeah, probably not. Probably not coming this way. Well, I would expect for us, you know, somebody I would definitely love, but I don't think they're trading him, is Clint Capella. Clint Capella, man, when the Rockets traded him away, I was kind of mad the Lakers didn't get involved, but obviously they don't want to trade within the same conference probably. But Clint Capella would have been perfect for the Lakers, man. Somebody like that, somebody like that would have took us a long way because that kid is good. And I couldn't believe they traded him just for what's his face? I forgot his name, for that small forward. Hey Dan, I hope the Grizzlies will be 10 wins and 11 losses tonight. It could happen, bro. It could very well happen. I mean, the Lakers, we've been winning. Look, we were struggling at home. We were 4-4, but we've won what, like 3-4 in a row now at home? Covington, thank you. See, why do some players just names like, I know the player I'm talking about, but my brain goes blank. I guess they're not important enough for me to remember. But yes, Robert Covington is that guy. Yeah. I couldn't believe they got Capella for little old Robert Covington. Like, that was such a stupid trade by the Rockets. I feel like, even though he was injured, I feel like they could have got more for Clint. But then again, hey, who am I? Buyout market is closing in. You excited? Very excited, Lil Dex. And I got you guys with all the content when it happens. You know where to find me. Y'all know as soon as something breaks, y'all know where to find me right here. And it'll be blowing up too. When something breaks, I feel like everybody's so interested to come here, listen to our opinions right here, that we be getting like thousands of people in the chat at once. So it gets really interesting when something breaks. Watch Pal come through. I wouldn't mind Pal. But if he's gonna come like his brother, flat-footed and old looking, I'm not sure if I want Pal now at this point. I thought Mark would be a little better this season. I am a little bit disappointed early on. Now, he still has time to turn things around. Obviously, I still root for him. We always support our players no matter what. As long as they're wearing purple and gold, we're here for them. As soon as they walk away, we talk smack. Now I'm just playing. But for real, it's like real talk. We got to support our players. A lot of people trashing Mark now. We got to root for the kid, man. I know sometimes it's very hard to watch. It's like trying to hope that a park card moves automatically. Sometimes it doesn't happen. He's in there just parked. But yeah, I think I would go a different route than Powell just because, like I said, Mark didn't do it for me so far. Early, though, hopefully he changes that. But early on, yeah, probably not. I wanted Powell to start the season because I was like, okay, Mark's he's still solid. He's still going to be good. And then Powell could back him up. But now, I don't know. My man said Mark will be great in the playoffs. I hope so. I always respect veterans because we know they could turn it on like this. Maybe he's saving it. Maybe he doesn't want to injure himself because he knows his body better than we do. And he's saving it for the playoffs. However, we'll see. We don't want to get our hopes up either. We should get an insurance policy, aka another big man, before we go into the playoffs, just to make sure. We don't want to bank our future on the fact that Mark's going to step it up in the playoffs. He said, what's up with all these Toronto players playing good in Toronto, but not in LA? Toronto players playing good in Toronto, but not in LA. Who are we talking about, brother? Oh, we're talking about Mark, obviously. Duh. I'm sorry. Every time I think of Mark, I think of him in a Grizzlies uniform, even though he's a champion with the Raptors. I don't know, man. I'm not concerned with that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Time will tell about Mark. But I like I said, I definitely think the Lakers should go out there and grab an insurance policy and make sure that we execute where we gotta execute at that position. That's the only place I see a weakness. Only place. He said, I don't mind AD not playing, to be honest. Me neither, because I'm happy as long as he's resting and getting healthy. But if he feels he's good to go, that's his call, man. You can't hold back the beast. You know, if he feels he's ready to go, basketball calls your blood. If you're a hooper, you know that the hardest thing about COVID was when they took the rims down at the parks and at the rec centers. And I was so bummed out. Like I gained weight. But now, you know, my local park got the rims back. We hooping over there every week, starting to get back in shape. I'm feeling good, man. So if you're a hooper, you know, I understand AD trying to get back soon because you miss it. You just miss it. And we definitely don't want AD to fall out of shape with all the great food that there is in LA, man. If he's not getting his workouts in due to injury, you know, the quicker he returns, the better for his conditioning. Lil Deck said Laker fans turn on players quicker than any other franchise. I wouldn't say turn on players, but we call out players. And if you're soft, you probably won't make it here, straight up. You know, but yeah, we are a little impatient sometimes. I will admit that. But we are still the best fan base because when you help us win here, man, it is no better reward. You become a legend. Basically, you know, the legends, they don't have to pay for stuff. You know, if they're recognized around the city of LA, if they made a dent on a championship run, you probably go out to a restaurant and get it on the house. Like that's how great it is, man. We embrace you for the rest of your life. It's like winning the golden ticket, you know, at the Willy Wonka factory. That's what it's like when you win a championship for the Lakers. Your life changes. You become a rock star of a sorts, right? So, especially if you're one of the main pillars like LeBron or AD, oh, those guys are set for life. They're going to get that royal treatment forever now. But you do have some ignorant fans, and I don't really consider those Laker fans. Some of those come from other franchises at times. Not all of them, but some of them. And like Shannon. Shannon's not really a Laker fan. He's a LeBron fan. If LeBron was to leave tomorrow, he will no longer root for the Lakers. That's not a Laker fan. Laker fans, we stick together through thick and thin. You know, we stick together, man. You said us Laker fans just expect greatness, which is why we could be tough on players sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a different expectation. When you wear purple and gold, you can't goof off. Like Nick Young came here and just became a disgrace, goofing off and just. Some people still love him, but to me, the people that love him just like him for the off the court stuff. On the court, he had one good year, and then Mike D'Antoni got his contract, then played like crap. And then unfortunately, I blame him for taking the young Bucks under his wing and they're stunning their growth. Like Clarkson was a way better passer and playmaker and floor general before Nick Young came along. And then when we got Nick Young, he became a shot chucker here in LA. And even though we still love Jordan Clarkson, like, do you guys remember his rookie season? How high we were on him? We were as high as we are on Taylor Horton Tucker. Maybe not as high, but we were pretty high on him. And he was starting, he was killing, man. I remember his first game versus the Spurs. My man dropped like a 30-point game. And we were like, whoa, okay. Could he be our point guard of the future we were looking at the time? And then, he had a great rookie year. He ended up the year by starting. And obviously we were having losing seasons still. But then Nick Young came along in a free agent signing. And boy, there's a reason Nick Young can't find a roster. It's not because he can't shoot, but it's because he's not good for the locker room, man. We saw what happened with D'Angelo Russell, and not fully blaming Nick Young for that, but obviously, bro, like if you're gonna act, you're gonna be mature around young players because they soak up everything. You know what I'm saying? You gotta teach them that it's basketball first and then Hollywood second. So it is what it is. But bottom line is, it really matters. Veteran leadership matters. Where was I going with this? I totally forgot. Sometimes I do that. I just ramble on. But what was the question again? Oh, about expecting greatness. Yes, we expect greatness. We're, the educated ones, very patient with players. But yeah, once that player gives up on a franchise, you lose us. Like what Josh Hart said about In and Out and the Lakers, like trying to throw dirt on the Lakers organization. Like, who cares about Josh Hart? We don't care about Josh Hart anymore. We have mad love for all the other young core players, but Josh Hart ruined that. Zubats, it's not really his fault, but the fact that he's playing for the Clippers now, we really don't talk about Zubats like that. We're a loyal bunch of fans, bro. We're the best fans in the world. He said, Lake Show plays in a few minutes. I'm ready for it. He said, hey, Dan, since you like Capella, would you mind getting Jokic instead? I wouldn't mind, but you know who would mind? The rest of the NBA, and not just the rest of the NBA, but there's no way they would trade him to us unless it involved Anthony Davis. So that's not even, plausible at this point. But anyways, thank you guys so much for the questions. the donations as well, the likes. If you already haven't, please consider subscribing. That's going to wrap it up for the pregame. I'm going to go run a little errand before the game starts. Hopefully I get back on time. But I'll see you guys right here for the post-game recap, guys. Much love, Laker Nation. Appreciate y'all, man. For real. And I'll see you guys right after. Peace out.